Okay, so good evening. It, of course, may not be evening for you when you listen to this, but it's a good evening here. So, my name is Ethan Leeds, and I've been making my full time income in network marketing for over 5 years now. And this is a training for those, particularly those new to networking, but this would be relevant for anyone that's been in networking for any length of time, especially if they've not really seen the success that they want. And it's going to be aimed, this particular training is going to be aimed more at the kind of mistakes that most make when they first start networking, and many are still making years later. Because I want you to avoid those mistakes. In particular, I want you to avoid those mistakes because they're the kind of mistakes that cause networking to have a bad name. Okay, because networking done properly wouldn't have a bad name, but there's many people that do networking incorrectly. And not only does it cause a bad name, but it also ensures that you are not successful. So let me get straight into it and start to deal with that. So when you become a networker, usually it's because you found a product that you love. Okay, not always. Sometimes there's money motivations for joining them. The product is kind of just irrelevant, but usually it's because you have a product that you love. So let's assume, and I'm going to make this general, so I'm not going to make it specific to my company. Okay, so I'm not going to talk about specific products, but I will talk about maybe natural health because that's the genre that I'm operating in. So let's say that you found a great company, a great product. Let's say the product solves certain health issues and you're very excited. So what typically happens is what most people do is they're going to start by sharing information about their product or about their company with the people that they know. That's just common sense. It's the easiest people to talk to. The problem is that most people that join networking companies, they have no idea how to access people that they don't know. So their entire market is people that they know. And most people don't have a massive circle of friends. But let's say you have 100 or 200 people that you know reasonably well. Let's call it 100 just to make it round numbers. So you've got 100 people that you know. Now, out of those 100 people, what percentage of them are likely to be interested in natural products? And it isn't a great percentage. So your 100 people might easily become 10. Your 200 people becomes 20. So now you have like 20 people who have got a natural interest. And then when you talk to those people, let's say you talk to 10 people and that have got a natural interest in natural health, and let's say that one or two of them buy, okay? You've got a couple of customers now from the 10 or 12 most interested. So what happens now is you start to talk to people who aren't naturally interested. But you know you've got this limited pool of people. You don't know how to access the people that you don't know. And so what happens is you start to sell to people who aren't interested. That's just the natural progression. So now you're talking to people who are not really interested. You're using your friendship to get them to listen to you. And then you're trying to convince your friend who isn't interested to become interested. Well, what happens is typically they will be polite the first time and they will express their disinterest. But you have got this limited pool of people. So you want to be successful and you want to help people. And so you'll start to get, you have a natural pressure on you because you're trying to get so many customers because your company, you want to get to a certain level or whatever. So you're starting to apply the pressure that you internally feel to the people that you're talking to. I've only got like 90 people left. If you've worked it out, you'll know of a number. But if you haven't worked it out, you still know that you're burning through your people. And so as more and more no's are collected, you get more and more desperate to A, help people, and B, to create this income that you've dreamed about. So you start applying pressure. So now they've said no, but the next time you meet them, you've got some new bit of information that you've since thought of or been told. And so now you hit them again. They've already said no, but now you're hitting them again. And so now they begin to become resistant. So now the barriers come up. And in some cases, it gets to the point where they're actually trying to avoid you. Or you start to have relationship problems because you are pushing them, you are selling to them, and nobody likes to be sold to. Okay? You don't have to sell to somebody who's got a natural interest. They just want to know, so you're just sharing in that case. But if you move from sharing to selling, you're moving into dangerous territory if they're your friends, even if they're not your friends, but if they're your friends especially. So what you need to do is learn how to find people who are actually interested in what you have to offer. So, for example, if you have a product that, let's say, is a solution to a problem that people have. Let's, for the sake of it, let's say eczema. They have eczema. Of course, you can't claim a natural thing cures eczema. But let's just say, hypothetically, you have a product that cures eczema. It has to be hypothetical because legally that can't happen. But hypothetically, you have a problem that reverses eczema. Okay? And you find people who have eczema or have children with eczema. There's a pretty good chance that they're going to be interested in that product, right? Not definitely, because a percentage of them won't believe that a natural product can do that. So they're not going to be interested. But a percentage of them will be interested. So our initial job is to find people with an interest in a product that we may have. They have a pain and we have a solution, and they are open to that solution. Now, when we find these people who have a pain, it might be a financial pain, it might be a health pain, it might be a number of other different pains, but they have a pain and you have a solution, and they're open to that solution, you can now share some information. Whatever the strategy is for the company that you're in or the team that you're working with in that company, use that strategy, which often is to share videos or have a three-way or whatever else it may be. Use that system and share the information. And if they say no, accept it. Do not try and overcome their objections. I relate it like this. I have a house full of guests and I offer a coffee. And some of them say yes, okay, and some of them prefer tea. And let's say that I want them to have coffee, right? I don't try and persuade. I don't say, hey, no, really, you must have this coffee. It's the best coffee ever. You haven't, until you've had this coffee, you've never had real coffee. I don't try and put, my guests say they don't want coffee, they want tea. I get them tea. Well, so that's how we should be. And then we don't fall out. Right? If I went to somebody's house and they offered me a coffee and I said no, and then they started selling me on their coffee, maybe after a minute or two of selling me, I might accept that. And then if I still said no and then they carried on, I'm going to start getting irritated. And probably you would too. Okay? And I'm going to start thinking, hang on a minute, I've said no 3 times now. What is their problem? And if I thought they actually were going to make money if I had this coffee, now I'm going to think, I know why they're pushing this coffee on me, because they're going to make money. And so I now start to question their motives. And so now we get into very dangerous water. So lesson 1, if you're new to MLM networking, or even if you're not, okay, is we do not try and persuade uninterested people. Instead, we try to find interested people. That's our goal. Now, there may be that among our friends and family, some who are interested, and that's cool. We can talk to those people. But if we ask a few questions of friends and family that show they're not interested, that's where we stop. Now, maybe in the future, they might become interested, especially if they're seeing things going on in your life where you're getting results. They might change their position, okay? But do not push them to try and push them to change their position earlier than they otherwise would, okay? So lesson number 1 in network marketing. Okay, learn what your product does, all the pains it solves, okay, and then learn how to find people with those pains and share information only if they're open, okay? If you do that, let me tell you, this industry is real fun if you're sharing with interested people. If you're trying to persuade uninterested people, it is horrible. Okay, you feel like you're banging your head on a wall, you're getting nowhere quick, you're certainly not earning any money, and you might even be losing friends. Okay, so that is a bad way to do the business, and many people that do network marketing do it exactly like that. Then they think the networking doesn't work, and it doesn't if you do it like that, but that's the wrong way. Okay, so learn how to do this business professionally, and it is a lot of fun. You help a lot of people. It's very lucrative. Don't spend the time learning how to do it and you'll make some expensive mistakes, expensive in terms of friendships, expensive in terms of finances, expensive in terms of fun and enjoyment and having a nice life. Okay, so learn how to do this business. You will help a lot of people, you'll have a lot of fun, and as a consequence of that, you'll make a very good income. So hope that's helped. Hope that you apply this information, not just hear it and don't. So if you need to make a couple of notes, and make some notes of the key points I've just made while it's fresh in your mind. Okay, have a great day, night, or whatever it is where you are. God bless you.